Hi, everybody. Welcome to TampaBayLightning.com. Rick Peckham with you with the newly named General Manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steve Yzerman. Steve, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Tampa. Obviously, a long association with the Red Wings, and you come from having been a player, a Hall of Fame career for 22 years, in management, really experiencing a lot of different things along the way to prepare you for this. Are there a couple of things that you can tell us you take from that experience that you really want to implement and put your own style on here as you become GM with the Lightning?
Well, you know, I learned a lot in the Detroit organization as a player, and then my last 4 years in management, learning from Ken Hall and Jim Nill, Ryan Martin, learning from the Ilitch family. And, you know, it's a slow process. You know, you have to have passionate hockey people who really are willing to work, and that's what I'm going to demand out of our staff, and in turn our coaches will demand that from our players, and the fan base will appreciate that. But it's a slow process. You know, you have to draft well, you have to develop these players, you have to make good decisions. That's what I'm going to try, and that's what I'm going to stick to. And it's a slow process, and it's a proven plan. I don't know if you can call it a plan, because it's kind of unexciting. It's very simple, but it's the way it needs to be done, and it's proven successful, and that's the way I intend to do it here.
Now, you were asked during the press conference if there was one deciding factor that convinced you that this was the opportunity, and you said you had several conversations with Jeff Vinik, the new Lightning owner, where it was kind of a gradual convincing that this was the opportunity. Were those conversations all based on hockey, or was it also a life philosophy and maybe a little bit of, as you two got to know each other over the course of those conversations, that you said, this is a really good fit for me?
All of that. You know, we had good conversations. You know, he got to meet my wife. I got to meet his wife and one of his sons. Just in our conversation, it wasn't interviews. I don't know. We didn't have interviews. We had conversations, and you know, you find out more about a person in these conversations. We talked about hockey. We talked about the business of hockey. Jeff was able to ask me questions about it and listen to my thoughts on it. I was able to ask him questions and how he, you know, his vision for the organization, how he wants it run, specific questions, general questions, philosophies, everything. And with each conversation, we were both very comfortable. And when I would walk away or hang up the phone, I would remark to my wife that, you know, this is really interesting. This is somebody that I know I will enjoy working for, and you know, I got good guidance in Detroit about things to look for in an organization, if and when you leave, what it takes, and with that in mind, you know, it was always stressed, you know, good ownership, allow you the responsibility to do what you want to do. And all these conversations with Jeff convinced me that, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me. This is a place I can go if I apply everything I've learned, if I'm willing to work hard, and I really commit myself to this. This is going to be successful. And I'm you know, I was honored that Jeff decided that, you know, or he felt that I was the person to do this job for him.
Now, your managerial skills have certainly been front and center this year with being the executive director of Team Canada for the Olympics. Now, you served an apprenticeship, if you will, to build up to that as the general manager of Team Canada for the World Championships, a gold medal, a silver medal for a couple of years, building to that. But I would imagine there's no substitute for being in the glare of that kind of worldwide attention. Is there something you can take from that will apply well to the challenge you face here?
Well, you know, mostly the decision-making process throughout it. You know, there's difficult decisions on naming a coaching staff, naming, you know, putting together a management team that would surround me with everything I needed to make the right decisions moving forward, and then ultimately making player decisions, which were very, very difficult. You know, there's even, you know, so much depth of talent in Canada. You know, you're forced to make difficult decisions and not necessarily popular decisions, and all that was good preparation moving forward. And then just being in Vancouver for 2 weeks and having to, you know, I understood the expectations. You know, our team, we got beat by the U.S. We had to go to a shootout to beat the Swiss. having to go through that experience, it makes you stronger. It gives you more confidence. You learn to deal with the pressures and the expectations. It's not the same as being a general manager of a National Hockey League team, but the responsibility is great, and as much in some cases as running an NHL team. So it was a great part of the education of becoming a general manager, I feel.
And you emerge with the gold medal as the executive director of Team Canada, and you come to Tampa now facing the situation of putting this team back in the playoffs and building from there. What do you think of the nucleus and the talent that's available here that you've got to work with?
Well, again, players that are in the system, that are currently under contract today, and in the system, draft picks and whatnot, you've got a nucleus of top, veteran players, small group of top veteran players, and a small group of younger players led by Stamkos and Hedman and Downey. And you've got a lot of draft picks to work with moving forward. You have virtually all your draft picks, but a second rounder this year. There's a lot of pieces in place that can allow the Lightning moving forward to be successful. Jeff is going to give me the autonomy to make the necessary decisions I have to improve the club, but it's a very exciting opportunity. And then in talking over the last couple of weeks with my friends in the game about the Lightning specifically, about players, about situations and how to go about this thing, I was excited about the challenge of it. And ultimately that gets me here today. But there's an exciting group of players, and there's a lot of decisions to be made. Contracts need to be extended. We've got to fill out a roster. All those decisions, the salary cap you have to weigh into it, term contracts expiring. There's a lot of things that go into signing a player. It's not just that one individual player. So there's a lot of things that have to be done, but there's a good nucleus of, and I hate to use the term, it's kind of cold, but there's a nucleus of assets here that we can work with and make good decisions with moving forward.
What has to change here in order to get on the road to success that you're looking for?
Well, I think in fairness to how things have gone the last couple of years, I can't be overly critical. I have my own ideas. I really feel it's important for me now to come in and analyze the organization, our scouting staff, both professionally and amateur. We really have to look at that and decide how that's going to be run, what we're going to do there, because you have to be successful in the draft. And I'm not just talking last year or the previous years, but over the course of the last 10 or so years, we have to be better. Our pro scouting department has to be better. We have to make better decisions. We have to make wise decisions. The management, myself, starting with myself, we have to make good decisions on contracts. You sign contracts now. You better make sure you're comfortable with that, because with the cap, with a lot of things, it's difficult around the league to do some of these things. So we have to be better in all areas, and then obviously it translates on the ice. We're going to put together. There's we need a new coaching staff. Got to get to work on that right away, and then ultimately on the ice, we can talk about goaltending, defense, anything you want. Obviously, you got to be improving all of those areas. That's going to happen over time. It's going to be challenging our veteran players to be better, giving them what they need, and that starts with a good coaching staff that can push them and teach them, and in some cases refine their game a little bit, develop our younger players, allow them to grow, get them better. So everything has to improve. That's why I'm here today, that they wanted to make changes, they wanted to go in a different direction. That gives me an opportunity, and I'm confident that over time we'll get to where Jeff Vinik and where the Tampa Bay Lightning fan base wants the team to be.
Steve, with all those years in Detroit, Detroit's known as Hockey Town. It doesn't have the nickname for nothing. I mean, it's certainly rich in hockey tradition, and that tradition has been started to build here, obviously with the Stanley Cup push back in 2004, and you want to get back to that. Was there something as a player when you came to Tampa that you noticed that, hey, there's some enthusiasm for hockey here, there's room to grow, and there's a viability here that will develop, that obviously people here experience with big crowds for a number of years that you want to get back?
Yeah, well, it was that way before the team won the Cup, and through them winning the Cup, unfortunately the lockout hurt the momentum of the franchise, and then the organization had to make tough decisions on personnel due to the cap, and timing hurt them, you know, and that the cap coming in with all their, you know, excellent young players coming out of the Stanley Cup with contracts expiring, they had to make some difficult decisions. It wasn't an easy time in a totally new environment. Every organization was trying to figure out which way to go. So I think timing really went against them, but it's proven here that the fans will come, that there's a good fan base here because they were here. And you know, we've got to, as an organization, and it starts with Jeff Vinik, and he's cognizant of that we've got to run a good business. We've got to be something that the Tampa Bay community is proud of and wants to support, and you know, sponsors want to be affiliated with a good organization run by good professional people. And then within the organization, we have to run this properly from a business point of view, but also from a hockey point of view. We have to run it well. We have to be organized. We have to be professional and respectful to people and our players, our fans, our organization as well. And fan base grows, and you know, you mentioned Detroit. That fan base has grown over a long period of time, and people are loyal Red Wing fans. We're going to develop. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But we can really. This is a fantastic game. You know, as you know, I got in the playoffs in Phoenix in the first round. Detroit playing in Phoenix, and it's well documented the troubles that they had. Well, it was as much fun of an atmosphere, and we remarked after games 1 and game 2 in Phoenix that, wow, there's nothing better than playoff hockey. It's exciting. The fans loved it. People left there thoroughly entertained. You know, it can work because it's a great game. The players are good people, and we just got to put a good product for them. And old fans will come back, and new fans will be drawn to the players because they're good people, and it's an exciting game.
Well, Steve, that process in the right direction certainly started with Jeff Vinik buying the team, and the momentum building tremendously today with your being named as the general manager. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Steve Yzerman, new general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Stay with us here at TampaBayLightning.com. All through the summer, we'll have the interviews, the news, the latest goings-on with the Tampa Bay Lightning right here at TampaBayLightning.com.